to face it. And
so that's 2 years. All you were doing was to feel pain in your chest.
yes,
So
I have on and off pain. And at a point in time, I thought it was our pillows because my husband was experiencing same thing. So I just go in and crack my chest and it comes back and I'm okay. And I'm going about my things. Everything I do, I was doing it perfectly.
Do you remember the day you discovered the lump and how you discovered it?
I want to believe I discovered it somewhere around May 2019 because I was writing my exams at the time. And I felt that day was when I felt the most painful pain, I would call it. It has never happened to me. But even at that point, I didn't know it was breast cancer. No, I didn't even think of that. I only like, what could have hit me? Like as if something cuts through my breast. So when I got home, then in fact, I couldn't drive back. So someone brought me home. So when I got there, I'm like, there's something in my breast that they need to check. So I took off my bra and then that was when I felt the lump there. Apparently it's been there and I didn't even know because I don't pay attention to my breasts. So when I felt the pain, in fact, at that point, still I wasn't thinking of breast cancer.
Know,
like
right?
it was not close to what I was thinking about. So I just felt it, but it was my husband rather that started. I think secretly he was reading about what kind of breast pain is that. Unfortunately for him, Google was giving him breast cancer doesn't come with pain. So as I'm having the pain, I think it was least of his worries that, then everything will be fine. So after exams, from that day, I was still having sharp pains, now in the breast, not so much in my chest. So after exams, we ended on a Sunday. Monday, I was in the hospital to go and check. Interestingly, the facility I visited, the doctor said, she has to give, it was a female doctor, she has to give me some medications, and I took them. There was no tests, there was no touch, there was no feel. And I came home with the medication, I exhausted them, and the pain was just getting worse than calming. And I could still feel now, I couldn't wear my bra well, that kind of thing. So I went back, and same prescription was giving me. I said, this one I lie, I won't buy. So that moment, I always say, I think it was just God that had to flash my mind off, because it's not me. I don't like medicines already. So I don't see why I have to feel there should be another kind of medication. But before I stepped out of the hospital, I decided to call a doctor friend, and fortunately she was around, and that was when it was on that day that the suspicion was giving me that the suspect, of course they couldn't say I have, because until you run a test to verify, you cannot tell the person she has or he has.
Interesting. For a female doctor, and I'm complaining about my breast, the first thing you would want to do is, can I see?
It was, I must be honest with you, she didn't check. She didn't even touch it too.
It would be the men that would say, I won't default to wanting to touch and see first.
And apparently it was a man that even did it.
Look at that.
Yes, it was a man. When I called a female doctor, and at the time she was busy training some medical students, so she asked a colleague to check, and he put the fingers in my armpit first before touching the breast, and like, I suspect breast cancer. And I said, okay. I said, did you hear what I said? I said, you said you suspect breast cancer. I'm okay too. So wow. I could feel at the time he couldn't believe what...
The way you were calm and receiving the message.
And I turned back, as I was walking out of the place, I turned back to watch his reaction, and you could see the guy is like, is this woman normal?
Why? Is it
why
that
were
at
you-
that time,
yeah,
you were
yeah.
not, at the time, as you said, breast cancer is not something you ever think of. So
Getting-
even when he suspected it, he didn't
You
take
know, I said something. Naturally, I don't allow things to weigh me down. No, you cannot frustrate me.
Do you mind? How old are you?
I'm close to 50. That's what I can tell you.
Yeah, I like that.
I can see that if you don't let things worry you, you live long and fresh.
Yes, indeed.
I'm just learning that.
I don't want. If you want people to frustrate you, yes, they will. For if I just say I don't want stress, but at the time I felt I had a lot of things to do. My family first, that my kids. I have 3 kids.
Right.
And my husband, they were my core people before I have other people who depend on us. And my prayer was, if God has a replacement, that's fine. Otherwise, I'm in.
Interesting.
Okay. So the drive from the hospital
Exactly.
after the suspicion into the, even though you were very calm at the hospital, how
Interestingly,
many hours,
that day-
minutes did it take to get you home?
Oh, few minutes.
Okay. And when you go, what was
It
the
was
first
just
thing
you
you
alone.
did?
You were alone.
I went, unfortunately, that day I went to the hospital alone. And when as I was coming out of the hospital, I called, at the time I was using a Renault, which was a manual car.
Okay.
So because of the pain,
Yeah.
if the moving, so I went without car on the day. I just went to the hospital to, I think, taxi at the time. And when I was coming out, after hearing the news, at that moment, the only thing that was bothering me was how my people will accept that I have this. But for me, the anchor, I was very fine. Yeah, so I was just worried about how and unfortunately, they didn't disappoint me. Yeah, they didn't disappoint me. I know how they will all react, and they reacted that way.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
and
Was it opposite of the way you took it?
oh, definitely.
Who freaked out most?
The
Your
kids.
husband, the kids?
No,
Who heard it first? Your husband, obviously, or the kids? Who did you meet at home first?
No, I didn't even get to the house. I called my husband on phone, and I told him we speak broken in the house.
Nice.
So I just told him, I beg, be like that thing. They say they suspect breast cancer. So if you come house, then we discuss more. And he was quiet on the phone. Knowing him, I know he will be broken at the time. Then the next person I placed a call to was my senior most sister.
Okay.
And when I called her and told her, this is what they are suspecting, then this woman started crying and said, get off the phone. I don't need this kind of energy.
Energy.
Yeah.
No.
But did you ever hear that whether or not in your family somebody have had breast cancer before?
I'm the first breast cancer patient, I believe, that there has been prostate cancer in my family.
Okay.
That gives me the risk of having a cancer coming through our family.
Okay.
Yes. So now that I have gotten it, I have to be mindful of my girls as well
Okay.
to know if their genes will support that. Then I'll start managing them.
How long did it take for you to go through the test for them to confirm?
Well, fortunately, we had what it takes to go through the test, and that has been the challenge for a lot of women, because it comes with so much financial burden.
Which part of it? The biopsy or?
Oh, biopsy is one of the least you do.
Okay.
Biopsy, before you complete your biopsy, is about 1,400, which is the least you can get. You run CT scan, depending on your status. Mine, they wanted to be sure of where the cancer has gotten to. So I had to do extra tests than the regular breast cancer. You do checks, x-ray, you do a whole lot of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so within a short time, I was.
Your diagnosis had come.
Yes. And I read everything before I went back to the hospital. so they don't tell me another story.
So much like you.
Yeah,
Very
so-
nice. I'll open the results before
Yeah,
I
when
get
I
to those.
read it, I researched on it, myself and my husband, we read through it. We knew what we were going for. And when I went there, I was told, this is it. And I said, I know that is it. What next?
Okay.
So I was told I have to be referred to Korle Bu. No problem.
The prejudice that a lot of patients have when they're being referred to Korle Bu, did you feel it? I remember.
You know, my journey has a lot of, it's a mixed thing. I see the spiritual aspect, I see the physical aspect, and I see myself playing a good role. Why do I say that? Before I just want to encourage women to know that, yes, some believe in the spiritual aspect, that before being me. For Susan, even if you are before, I'm ready to face you. But don't wallow in that, and then you get stuck at a shrine or a church, and you don't do
Prayer
nothing.
comes.
Don't do that. So, mine, that's why I said I think I have lived with it for 2 years, because I remember Reverend ministers. I'm a Presbyterian. I had 2 Reverend ministers telling me something hit my chest, but I ignored. And I remember a friend's pastor who never knew me. At the time, I've not even told my friend I was having chest pain. But she spoke true, and I recall her voice so strong. She's like, when I told you kuku, I be cool. I'm like, oh, what is this woman talking about? I didn't pay attention to it. Yeah. So when everything unfolded in 2019, I'm like, could it be what they were talking about? Yeah. So I'm bringing the God factor in it, because when the diagnosis and everything took that kind of turn, like it was, because when I brought my reports to the hospital for interpretation, at the time, there were some Central University students, medical students, who were, I think they were having some lectures at the hospital. So the specialist in charge of their class approached me and like, if I don't mind, he wants to teach them something on my breast, because it looks different from the regular he's been experiencing.
Right.
And all I said was, well, if it's going to enhance them, their classes, why not? Because if I'm dead like right now, what's the benefit? And that was, he just sighed, like, and they were about 7. And each of them was supposed to touch the breast, and this breast was hurting. At this point, it was bleeding. Yeah, so he could see the pain on my face and said only 3 people should do it. But even the 3 people, was tough for me. Not knowing that particular specialist is a reverend minister and a specialist at Korle Bu. And so when I was referred to Korle Bu, he asked us to come there. We didn't know him, like I never knew him. When I got to, myself and my husband, when we got to Korle Bu, he was holding my folder at the surgical block, the entrance. Waiting. And then when he handed my folder to me, his words were, he mentioned a particular room, I think room 10 or something. Go there. The one you go and see believes in the faith as well. And I don't know why he said that, because I didn't discuss faith issue with him. Wonderful. But that's what he told me. And so he, like, it was kind of a protocol thing that we didn't request for. And when I went there, he also looked at me and said, oh, everything is booked. But I'll get you somewhere. Can you choose a date? Then that one became my bedding. Yes.
Yeah, because in that
yes,
you can get a date in 3 months' time or 4 months'
so
time.
that is the God factor I try to not to overlook, because I only saw his work.
God sped up your process.
Exactly. That was what happened.
Okay. Okay. Now, how long did you have to go to Kolebu, and what options were given to you? Are you the one that decided they should take it off completely, or that was
Yes.
your last option?
Obviously, it was the only choice I had at the time because of the type of cancer I had,
Yeah.
the aggressive one. So I was ready to take off the two. My husband was ready for that as well, but the doctor is like, no. I see some positive things coming. Don't take off the two. Let's do one. I'm like, anything. If two can go and you say no and it's one, why should it be a worry? So then I had to check my calendar, the kids' school and everything, and I gave out my date. And fortunately, I got the date. So I went home to prepare, and this time I started researching on the disease extensively to know what exactly it's about, what I'm going in for, and all that.
And nothing at this point scared you?
Oh, no, that's for fear, dear. Even now, I'm not afraid. No, as for fear, hell no.
I
It
mean,
didn't
but
come.
with all other surgeries, even if it's very minor, knowing
Oh,
you're
well,
going in there-
maybe I have 3 kids and I've had 2 cesarean sessions. So cut is not an issue.
Okay.
Like, I don't fear getting into. My only issue is I don't take any alcohol. I'm allergic to alcohol and spirits. So when I'm being drugged, I go dead. Yes, so
anesthesia.
people agitate that. Will she come
come
back to
back.
that? Yeah, aside that, I really don't have issues at all.
A lot of women fear, now that, we've gotten into mastectomy, cutting the breast and whatever it is, I know a lot of women fear the emotional and psychological impact of taking one. Of course, it's more important to take it away than living with it. Did it in any way impact your marriage? Did it change anything at all?
Yes, yeah, I would say yes, because it's not just taking off the breast that affects you. The whole process of your treatment can bring a lot of stuff to you because the medication will change you completely. You become horrible.
You had to do chemotherapy?
Oh yes, I did.
Because-
My plan was, my treatment plan was mastectomy, chemotherapy, and radiotherapy.
Hey,
So I had to cut my dreadlocks down. I cut it down, and then I prepared for it, but then it dealt with me. I
Lost
became
your
very.
hair.
Oh yes, it's the least of the worries. It was the least. I became smooth like that. I lost every hair everywhere. Yes, chemo is supposed to stop the growth of ugly cells, but because it's not human, it damages
goes
everything.
everywhere.
Yeah. So I lost my hair. My people were trying to encourage me, like, I'm okay, but I know I wasn't okay. And chemo distorts your emotions. You don't get aroused easily and all that. So it's part of our work as a foundation that we psych the couple, both the husband and the wife, to understand the changes that will come whilst the woman embarks on treatment, so that when the man is with you and he's expecting things to be smooth, it's not going through, like it's not going as he wants. He needs to give you time to come into that. If anything, to help bring you into that kind of mood, he needs to do that, and that's what my husband has been doing.
I think that's a question that
That's
Gordon
what
is
it's-
asking.
yeah, that's what
the
I'm-
impact.
yes,
So you're
so-
lucky to have a husband that understood it.
Yeah, he's my twin.
Oh, that's so cool. So cool. Support is very important,
Yes.
for people going through this
It's
process.
very key. It's key because it becomes like some pregnancies that we know that the woman will be spitting and will be throwing up and doing all that. So the same way with chemo or any other treatment plan one gets, you become disorganized. So if whoever is with you doesn't understand your mood, it will become a problem. Uhadrin, simple. Because some of the medications give us that
mood and all?
I want to talk about mine and
Okay.
maybe some references. I lost my senses at a point. I couldn't tell what was happening around me anymore. Yes, so I believe if my people at home they didn't notice that, it would have been a problem. My kids used to say that, hey, so mommy, you were 4, and daddy had to deceive you to give you 1 spoon of Tom Brown, and we'll be telling you, oh, this one is for Kemi, so take it. I'm like, did that happen?
Oh, I really am interested in some of the things they told you that shocked you.
Yes.
You didn't want to eat, so you had to be.
That's what they said. I had rotten throats, and nothing could go through my throat. So they ended up giving me some medication. They need to spray my mouth to numb there so I can take something quickly. It was a whole terrible experience.
What a journey.
A horrible journey.
Did you? But you could have very sane conversation with your kids.
Yes.
Okay, mothers. You never lose your sense of mother.
Yes, but according to them, it got to a point I wasn't talking either.
Wow.
Yes. And I also noticed at the point that I was wearing diaper. I couldn't get off my bed because it affected my legs. I couldn't
This is
walk.
all the treatments.
Yes, for mine.
Yours.
Because I've been able to counsel women that they go for chemotherapy shots and they go to the office. But I couldn't get that opportunity. Maybe I was on my own. So out of my experience, I try to encourage other women. That's what the foundation is about.
In all of the treatment and some of the things that was happening at home, you've already established, even with the way you answer questions shows that you're a very confident woman. You're not too much afraid of a lot of things. Even though your family also understood what was going on. During the treatment period, all the shocks that were coming in, did any of them fear? Did any of them,
That one I can't tell much because they wouldn't like me to know that they were, they wouldn't like
You
me
have a
to
lovely
know.
family.
Yes, I do. I'm the last one too, anyway.
What about your big sister? That's when we broke the news, she was
She
crying.
started crying. You know?
Unfortunately, at the time I was diagnosed, she was in the US. And I think she came home this year and saw me and she's like, hey, did you really fall sick?
You don't
Okay.
look it.
Yeah, because,
look at all.
So she didn't see the process and then the changes in you and all of that.
She said she was seeing, but she couldn't believe what was going on. I think my husband was having a video with them and all that, those kind of things. But
For the few people out there who are people of faith, in this process, I mean, you've mentioned God severally, but in surviving after chemo, after the mastectomy and things, and going through this, was there a place for prayer or anything spirituality for you?
oh yes, I remember myself and my husband is a Muslim, but I'm a Presbyterian. So,
Okay, wait, let me sit down well. Wow. What?
Yeah, because of the Malik, I said, okay.
Yes, I thought maybe it was first.
Okay, but
Yeah.
here we are.
Of course.
Yes, but now that it has come up, why not?
Wow.
Okay.
Yes, but then he believes in my spirituality and he respects my spirituality. So I'm like, can we have fast and pray? Because if we don't commit the whole process into God's hands, it can't work. So I know he had fasting on my behalf, and we were praying. The kids were, everybody was prayerful. Like, I remember one of my reverend ministers like, Mama, you cannot be like this. You can't tell people you are. I said, please, tell them I'm very sick, I'm dying, so they can channel their prayers well. Because I need that. At the hospital, it's not the doctors that will kill you. The cleaners, the nurses. They are having direct contact with you. If anybody wants to use them, it's easy. You understand?
Interesting.
So for me, they were my core people I pray. That God should give me the right people around me. That when I'm gone, they should know I need their help.
Yeah.
And I had that kind of system.
It's beautiful.
After surviving it, how long have you had Modloko Foundation?
I started Modloko during my chemotherapy.
Oh.
Yeah, treatment. Because you go to the chemo suite and the women you see, you can tell that what to eat is a problem. Some come and how to go back home is a problem. The nurses will contribute their money to support them and stuff. So when we are going there, we try to pack stuff from home and then we support. And since that time till now, I've lost a lot of women though, but
how does it feel? Especially if you're
from the beginning,
them,
I couldn't help it
Oh.
because you could tell she's dying and you can't do anything about it. So counting them, then I'm like, I'm giving up. Because now I've had those that have been with Modloko, they've had experience with me. They are 91.
Okay.
91 women
That's
that I've lost.
You've lost 91 women.
Yes. 91. I know she was nodding like they are. No,
Yeah, the surviving ones.
they are the people that I have lost.
Wow.
And so Modloko tries to have at least 2 times sitting, because we know as we are sitting now, we have fun, we talk about our problems. You know, breast cancer survivors have their own problems they try to talk about. We have fun, we share souvenirs, we do a lot. And the next sitting,
One is
2 may
out of
not
them.
be out among anymore, yeah. So we had one in July, 1st July. And from 1st July to now, I think I've lost 3. Yeah.
How are you funding this foundation?
That's the problem. The funding, and I don't blame the people out there, because a lot of foundations are out there that they don't really support because they feel people use that to enrich themselves. But for some of us, the experience is too ugly. We don't want any other woman to go through that. The little smile we can put on people's faces matter a lot to us. So, yes, the few friends around me have been very supportive, very supportive. When I call them, they know why I'm calling.
Yeah.
And my sister, Carol, she's been extremely supportive. My husband, myself, yes. And sometimes we produce shirts to sell to raise funds.
Okay.
And you pay once chemo session and the money is gone. You need to go back. We are always begging.
I understand. Are you on social media?
Yes.
What numbers
people
can we
support you?
call?
Yes, our numbers are, I think the foundation's Momo number is 059 466 8485. 059 466 8485. And then our website is www.modlokobreastcancer.com. And then on Twitter or X space is at Modloko. And then on Facebook, Modloko Breast Cancer Foundation. So that's been us.
Loco spells L-O-K-K-O, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Sometimes God is very direct in what he does. He had to save this one who can save millions others.
Yeah. Yes, and I have to men survived because of Modloko.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Mrs. Susan Chucho Malik, thank you so much.
Such an interesting
I'm
name.
telling you.
We're happy that you spoke to us, and may God continue to strengthen you.
Yeah.
We pray for a lot of funding and help. You need help
Yes.
so that you can do more of what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
And hello to your husband.
Yes.
Star husband.
We
Star
have to
husband
give
of
him
the
a shout out.
month. Yeah.
Should have, you
Yeah.
know.
Mr. Malik, star husband of the Pink October
Salute.
month. Thank you so much.
Salute.
Yeah.
Guys, Throwback Thursday. Up next, Mr. Nambo will bring you that.
Betway is your gateway to a theme park full of gaming excitement. A whirlpool of wonder where your favorite games